and welcome to my channel. I thought I'd do a review and time-lapse build of the latest LEGO Star Wars All-Terrain Armoured Transport, or AT-AT. This is it. This is set number 75288. Now, this is quite an iconic vehicle from the Star Wars franchise. It first appeared in Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, on the Battle of Hoth, as it basically came stomping across to take down the shield generators. It's also appeared in The Return of the Jedi and some of the newer series as well. This particular set, like I say, is 75288. It has approximately 1,200 pieces in it, and in the UK retails for around £130–140, although sometimes you can get it a bit cheaper. Now, as with all LEGO sets, it comes in a nice sturdy box. It comes with some lovely graphics on the actual box itself. This showing a nice scene from the Battle of Hoth, and also, you know, the iconic thing of Luke basically grappling up into the belly of it to put the thermal detonator in to actually destroy them. Now, this particular set comes with 6 minifigures. So we have, like I said, Luke Skywalker, General Veers, 2 AT-AT drivers, and 2 Snowtroopers. Now, one of those actually has a sort of a gun in play, a gun turret, and the other one actually has a speeder bike. So we have a quick look around the actual box itself. There's actually quite a lot of detail in this particular set. There's an internal compartment shown in the box here where you can actually see the driver and General Veers. There is plenty of space in the actual body of the AT-AT itself, where you can put more Snowtroopers if you wanted to, and you can also install the speeder bike. It also has a mechanism for allowing Luke to grapple up from the ground, and like I say, it's really nice artwork on the box, and I'm really looking forward to building this. So I will do the speed build. I will time-lapse that. You can watch that if you like, and then when it's all set and completed, I will give a review of what I think of it. Okay, that's the build finished, and let's take a look at it. So obviously you get the AT-AT. If we have a look at the figures in a little bit more detail, there's Luke Skywalker. Now that's not quite a nice. That's quite a nice print he's got on his chest and legs there. I quite like that. I think it's a bit of a shame that they've reverted to not having the actual helmet, the actual helmet with the integrated visor into it. Now the actual the yellow sort of visor bit is sort of printed actually on the character itself, and if you turn around he's actually got it down. I must admit I preferred it when it was part of the actual helmet, but for whatever reason they've changed that. But there we go. There's General Veers. I quite like his character. I think that's a really nice print on the body on that one. The legs are just a plain grey on that one. We've then got two AT-AT drivers. Again, they've got nice prints on them. I really quite like that. Just turn them around. And nice prints on the back again. And two Snowtroopers. Again, nice prints on the body and also print on the back. And you can, if you want to, take his helmet off, and it's just a normal face under there. So as well as the AT-AT, we also have the gun turret, which you can have just firing from the thing, or you can potentially mount it actually inside the AT-AT itself. I think this looks actually really good. I think really good use of what look like little blasters there for the actual legs of the tripod, so I really quite like that. And there's also the Snowspeeder. Again, I think this is actually really nice. It looks very effective. I think it just adds to the set itself. So if we take a look inside the actual AT-AT itself, so inside the main cockpit, there is space for the three figures, the two drivers and General Veers. Now I would have to say it is really tight in there. If I had to criticise anything about this compartment is so tight you have to put the figures' arms in the right way, take their guns or their binoculars off them, put them to one side, because otherwise they just do not fit in. It is that tight in there. But it's still nice that they've actually got space for that. Now obviously we've got the AT-AT itself, the two blasters on either side, and also the two blasters underneath. The two blasters underneath actually have the laser bolt firing mechanisms. So you press the back of the laser bolt there and it'll shoot out on the spring loaded. So that's really nice. Now the sides of the AT-AT also open up, so you just gently sort of lift it up like that, and as you can see there is plenty of space inside there for not only your two Snowtroopers, but you could also fit three others in, so if you've got any other sets. And if we just lift up, the same thing applies at the other side. The flap lifts up there as well, so there you go, so you can see all the way through. And also if we turn around to the back, there's even a compartment at the back where you can stick your Snowspeeder. So you lift that flap up there, bring that one down, and we've got the rails in here which we can easily stick speeder bike in, and then close it up, and that fits in really nicely without taking up really any more space inside the actual body of the craft there. There's one really nice sort of mechanism in this. As you can see, down here we have the grappling hook that Luke Skywalker actually grappled onto to get up inside the body of such a thing. Now this is, there's a rope here that is driven from a mechanism just underneath this flap here. There's a little gnarled wheel here, so if you rotate that round, the actual hook gradually makes its way down to the ground. So then you can basically recreate the moment where Luke grapples onto thing, climbs his way up, and puts the detonation charge inside the body of the AT-AT Walker. And even that bit is actually created as well. There's a small flap just here, which opens up into a very small compartment inside the body, which you can pretend to put your thermal detonator or whatever you like in there to actually blow it up. So that, I think, is a really nice sort of extra play feature there that allows you to recreate the actual story from the film itself. I just thought I'd show you all the figures in the cockpit. You can actually do it, as I said, if you sit the two pilots down. And you also have to sit General Veers down as well. You do have to sacrifice taking their little blasters off them. Well, but then again, you probably wouldn't drive something like this with a blaster in your hand. But they don't fit. You just cannot get them in because it is, you know, it is really tight in there for those two. But you can do it, so you can recreate that scene from the Battle of Hoth where General Veers is guiding the AT-ATs across the snowy wastes to attack their rebel base. And the lid does close on top of the figures. It doesn't close quite as snugly as it would if General Veers wasn't in there. It sort of does slightly catch on his head. You probably can't quite see that in there, but just slightly catch on it, but not enough to really matter. I don't think that's too bad at all. If you look at some of the other gaps and joints between the panels, I think that's, I think they're pretty reasonable. These panels are held on by some sort of ball joint clips, so they have a bit of movement in them. But that's sort of as close as really they get, but I don't think that's too bad. You know, these little red clips down there, so I think that's really good. And again, at the back, you know, the gaps aren't massive, so you know, for trying to make it out of the Lego, I think that's actually pretty good. One thing I didn't show you earlier, I really like the detailing, the blaster shield detailing behind the legs here. This is a really nice bit of detailing when you're making it, and also around the back here, behind the legs, and also these detailing here as well. I think that's really nice. And also this bit of detailing in the sort of opening here. That's again a really nice bit of detail, and it makes it look really similar to actually what you see in the film itself. One other thing I didn't show you is you can actually take your E-Web blaster and you can sort of hook it onto that peg there, and then you can close the hatch. So unlike a lot of sets where you get a whole load of blasters and things like that, and then you've got nowhere to store them because there just isn't enough space anywhere, this you can actually do it. So Lego really did make a good job of making a really spacious inside for this particular AT-AT. So like I say, you can fit in, as you can see there, U-Web blaster and potentially 5 Snowtroopers and even your speed bike all in one thing, so that's really, really good. So, what are my overall impressions of this? Well, I'd have to say I'm very impressed with it. I've seen reviews of some of the older AT-ATs have been produced in the past, and there's been a lot of criticisms on the sort of the sturdiness of the actual build and the sturdiness of the head. This particular one, they've got a lot of Lego Technic pieces here, and this really interesting arrangement of basically 3 steering wheels, I think it is, that sort of hides that. And this is a really, really secure head there. There's no chance that this is going to come off. It's also got quite a nice amount of movement in there, so it moves not only at the body but also at the head end, so you can really sort of tilt it round to sort of look back on itself. And I think that is a really nice feature there. I mean, it looks really good. If I had to criticise anything, I would have liked them to have put a couple more of those little blue studs in there with the sort of the half height pegs up, and maybe just cover that bit of Technic there with just a plain flat grey 3x1 piece. I think that would have been quite nice. It would have just hidden some of the Technic to go. And I agree with some of the other reviews that think that, you know, they could have done something to hide these pieces of Technic here, the blue pieces here. Other than that, I think, you know, the colour I think is pretty much spot on to what it was in the film. It's that sort of light grey with some slightly darker pieces in various places. So yeah, those little bits of Lego Technic would be the only sort of criticisms I have of to something they could have done a little bit better or hidden it a bit better. I think the detailing at the back is absolutely brilliant. I think this really reflects what it was like in the film, and I do like the fact that you can put your speeder bike in there and sort of hide it away. And the opening sides, again to reveal the inside, I think is another really nice bit of detailing there that is really good. The legs themselves, they're not too thick, they're not too thin. I think they work really well. They are articulated, so they will bend both up there and at the bottom, as do the feet. So you can actually pose this into some quite reasonable sort of walking stances. It's pretty sturdy with that. I did have it fall over once. I think when I'd put maybe the legs on one side a bit too splayed apart, so it was actually tipping one way. But actually, you can pose it quite a reasonable amount in the walking sort of position, and it'll stay there. It'll stand up, no problem at all. So, is it worth £130, £140 in the UK? Well, in some sense, I think yes. I do like this one. I think it is, just straighten that leg a bit. I think it is a really good representation of the actual AT-AT in the films. I think it's the right proportions. It's not too fat. It's not too small, like I say, other than the fact it is a tight squeeze in the actual driving area for the 3 characters. The fact you get 3 or 6 characters, I think is really good. Caveat, like I say, I don't like Luke Skywalker's helmet there. I prefer the previous design when the yellow shield, sort of glasses shielding was, or the shield was actually integrated into the helmet itself. But for whatever reason, they changed that. But no, I think this is definitely worth it. If you like the AT-AT as a classic vehicle from the actual Star Wars films, then I think this is a really good set to get. So yeah, in my opinion, it's a top-notch set, and well done to Lego again for producing a really nice set with a nice amount of detail. As you can see there, it's got lovely detailing on the feet and everything, and even on the inside of the legs with the sort of support bars there. So yeah, brilliant. A thoroughly recommended set.